Hello and welcome back to Blue Sky Media. Today we are back with another video filled with knowledge and information. In this video, we will look at amazing facts about sharks, part 2. Like us, sharks can feel things that touch their skin. They can also feel other objects nearby, from the ripples and waves they make as water flows around them and bounces off. Like humans, sharks have millions of nerve endings all over their skin that can feel pressure, temperature and pain. Sharks also have an extra sense organ called the lateral line. This is a long tube running down each side of a shark's body, under its skin. As a shark swims, ripples and currents in the water pass into the lateral line through little holes in the skin. Tiny hairs inside the lateral line sense the ripples, and send signals to the shark's brain. All fish, not just sharks, have lateral lines for sensing ripples. You might be able to see the lateral line on a fish in a fish tank or in a fishmonger shop or supermarket. Sharks also use their sense of touch to navigate. They can feel where rocks, reefs and other obstacles are, even if they can't see them. Like humans, sharks have taste buds inside their mouths. As well as tasting the food they eat, sharks can taste chemicals dissolved in the water. This helps them to find prey and avoid pollution. Some sharks have fleshy whiskers on their snouts, called barbels. These can sense the location of food on the seabed. The sense of smell is the most important sense for most sharks. As a shark swims, water constantly flows into the nostrils on its snout, and over the scent-detecting cells inside them. Sharks can smell blood in water, even if it's diluted to 1 part in 10 million. That's like 1 drop of blood mixed into a small swimming pool. A shark can smell an injured animal up to 1 kilometer away. The biggest part of a shark's brain is the olfactory lobe, the part used for processing smells. The great white shark has biggest olfactory lobe of all, which means it probably has the best sense of smell of any shark. Swimmers have been known to attract sharks just by having a tiny scratch on their skin. Sharks use their nostrils for smelling, not breathing. A shark homes in on a scent by zigzagging its snout from side to side. It moves towards the side where the smell is strongest. A shark has 6 senses. Besides having vision, hearing, touch, taste and smell, sharks can also sense the small amounts of electricity given off by other animals. To detect electricity, a shark has tiny holes in the skin around its head and snout. They're called the ampullae of Lorenzini. Ampullae are a type of Roman bottle. The ampullae of Lorenzini get their name because of their narrow-necked bottle shape. Each ampulla contains a jelly-like substance that collects electric signals. All animals give off tiny amounts of electricity when their muscles move. Electricity doesn't travel well through air, but it travels well through water. A shark's ampullae of Lorenzini can sense animals within a range of about 1 meter. Some sharks use their electrical sense to find prey that's buried in the seabed. A fierce hunting shark, such as a tiger or hammerhead, has up to 1,500 ampullae of Lorenzini. Stefano Lorenzini was an Italian anatomist, body scientist. He studied the ampullae of Lorenzini, and gave them their name, in 1678. Most sharks have big brains for their body size and are probably cleverer than many bony fish. Almost all of a shark's brain is used for processing information from the senses. The brain parts used for learning and thinking are quite small in sharks. In relation to their body size, hammerhead sharks have the biggest brains. In captivity, some sharks have learned to do simple tasks in exchange for a reward. Experiments with lemon sharks show they can tell between different shapes and colors. Some sharks are brighter than others. Fast hunters such as great whites are the most intelligent. Slow-moving bottom feeders like carpet sharks are less smart. Scientists used to think all sharks had little intelligence. They have only recently started to learn about how their brains work. Sharks can be trained to fetch rubber rings, just like a dog fetching a stick. Like most animals, sharks need to take in oxygen to make their bodies work. Like other fish, sharks breathe underwater using gills in their throats. Most sharks have 5 pairs of gills. Each gill is made up of a set of feathery, hair-like filaments full of blood vessels. Many sharks have extra breathing holes called spiracles, just behind their eyes, that take in water for the shark to breathe. As a shark swims, water flows into its mouth or spiracles, and past the gills. They take oxygen out of the water and carry it into the shark's bloodstream. The water flows out again through the gill slits, the lines you can see on the sides of a shark's neck. Sharks don't have lungs, their gills do the same job that lungs do in humans. Some fast sharks, such as mako sharks, have to keep swimming in order to keep breathing. If they stop, water stops flowing past their gills and they suffocate. Slow-moving sharks such as the Port Jackson shark can pump water across their gills, so they can stop for a rest and still keep breathing. A shark's main swimming organ is its tail. The shark thrashes it from side to side to push itself through the water. Sharks use their pectoral and pelvic fins to help them steer and swim upwards and downwards. The fastest shark is the shortfin mako shark, which has been recorded swimming at over 30 km per hour. Most sharks have an everyday cruising speed of around 8 km per hour. Sharks normally swim with a relaxed, regular rhythm. They don't dart around like most bony fish do. Other bony fish have a swim bladder, a gas-filled organ that keeps them afloat. But sharks don't have swim bladders, so they are slightly heavier than water. Many sharks swim in a figure-of-8 pattern when they are annoyed. Thanks to their streamlined shape, sharks can swim very quietly and sneak up on their prey. Some sharks swallow air to help them to float better. A hunting shark, such as a great white or a tiger shark, has several rows of teeth. A shark's gums are like a conveyor belt. The rows of teeth constantly move slowly forwards. Gradually the front row wears out, and a new row replaces them. Only the 2 front rows of teeth are used for biting. The rest are just lining up to replace them. In a lifetime, some sharks will get through 30,000 teeth altogether. You can sometimes find sharks' old, used teeth washed up on beaches. Sharks' teeth really are as sharp as razors. Each tooth has serrated edges, with tiny, sharp points on them, like a saw, for cutting through meat. The biggest shark teeth belong to the great white shark. They can grow to over 6 centimeters long. Some sharks, such as smooth hound sharks, don't have sharp biting teeth. Instead they have hard, flat plates in their mouths for grinding up crabs and shellfish. The sand tiger shark has the deadliest looking teeth, but they are only used for catching small fish. Most sharks eat many different kinds of animals. Big, fast-hunting sharks, such as great whites and bull sharks, feed on large fish, including other sharks, as well as seals, turtles, octopuses, squid, seabirds and other sea creatures. Many smaller sharks, such as dogfish sharks, hunt smaller fish, octopuses and squid. Slow-moving sharks, such as nurse sharks, angel sharks and carpet sharks, crunch up crabs, shrimps and shellfish that they find on the seabed. Filter feeders are sharks that feed on plankton, tiny floating animals and plants, which they filter out of the water. There are hardly any animal species in the sea that aren't part of the diet of one shark or another. Tiger sharks are well known for eating anything they can find, including objects that aren't food, such as tin cans. After being eaten, food stays in a shark's stomach for up to 3 days. Most sharks don't eat every day. Some big hunters can go without food for months. Most sharks are nocturnal, which means they hunt at night, or crepuscular, which means they hunt at dusk. Before attacking, some sharks bump their prey with their snouts, probably to see if it's something edible and tasty. When about to bite, a shark raises its snout and thrusts its jaws forward, so that its teeth stick out to grab the prey. Some sharks shake their prey from side to side to rip it apart. Sharks don't usually chew. They tear their prey into chunks or just swallow it whole. Sharks can attack animals much bigger than themselves. For example, great whites have been known to bite chunks out of whales. Sometimes, lots of sharks are attracted to a source of food, and they all jostle to eat it at the same time. This is known as a feeding frenzy. Most hunting sharks prefer prey that's weak or helpless, because it's easier to catch. That's why sharks are good at smelling blood. It tells them when an animal is injured. Many sharks give their prey a fatal bite, then leave it to bleed to death. They then return to feed on the body. The biggest sharks of all, whale sharks, basking sharks and megamouths, eat the smallest prey, plankton. These sharks are the filter feeders. Plankton is made up of small sea creatures such as shrimps, baby crabs and octopuses, and tiny free-floating plants. It drifts along with the currents. Filter-feeding sharks have gill rakers, special comb-like bristles in their throats that sieve plankton out of the water. Gill rakers are coated in sticky mucus to help plankton to stick to them. Filter-feeding sharks swallow the plankton they have collected, while the water they have sieved escapes from their gills. Filter feeders have massive mouths so they can suck in as much water as possible.